With the Tournament of Power only a few hours away, Goku seeks out Universe 7's strongest competitors as Goku looks to recruit both Krillin and Android 18 and joining them in this great battle to defend their universe. But alongside Goku's efforts to recruit both Android 18 and Krillin, Krillin squares up against Gohan as Gohan tests Krillin to see if he's more than capable of competing alongside Universe 7, to which we see Goku also trying to persuade Android 18 and somewhat joining Universe 7's cause in defending their existence. But of course, with Android 18 having to turn down the offer, Goku does imply that money will be involved in order to persuade 18 in joining the tournament. What's going on, Dragon Ball Super fans? Welcome to Dragon Ball Super episode 84 breakdown review entitled Son Goku the Recruiter Invites Krillin and Android 18, leading into Dragon Ball Super episode 85 next week, in which we do see a preview of in this particular episode and what will be a very captivating and intriguing episode. And a quick plug before we begin, guys, in case you guys are not following me at Twitter, be sure to go on ahead and head over to my Twitter and follow me at UnrealEntGaming for all latest in Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. That way you guys are always in the loop with all the latest in Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. And if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you guys are always up to date with all the latest in Dragon Ball discussions, reviews, and information. And be sure to go on ahead and turn on notifications. That way you guys always get the updates as to what happens on this channel. It greatly means a lot to me for you guys to go on ahead and share and spread the word. Now, Dragon Ball Super episode 85's preview gives us an idea and gives us a first look as to not only the Pride Troopers in action as we see more members of the Pride Troopers be introduced, but we also get to see how Goku is in fact sparring against a skinny Buu. Now this Majin Buu in particular, he's not the variation that we know of Super Buu or Kid Buu. He's actually a little different looking, even though in the actual tournament Majin Buu will not look like that. Based on Majin Buu having to train for so long, he lost weight and he's sparring against Goku. But even then, we see the God Summon. Now we see all of the Supreme Kais, we see the Gods of Destruction, we see how everyone's gathered together, and accordingly enough, based on the Dragon Ball Super spoilers, we do understand that the gods do want to do something to Goku, whereas opposed to the Kaioshins, they're trying to come up with a plan and trying to get the Omni King and stopping this tournament. So we have the Kaioshins who seem to be trying to devise a plan how to, just blow everything over. Meanwhile, the Gods of Destructions include everyone but Beerus, and they're all trying to get Goku back for bringing this tournament about. So we know based on the spoilers that the gods are going to be coming after Goku, and Goku's going to be in some serious water. However, we also get to see Toppo and the Beerus looking Pride Trooper in action as well, alongside Jiren at the very end meditating. And the reason why I believe that Jiren is going to be such a problem is because right towards the end, we see the aura around him. He seems to be a serious fighter, and next week's episode is called The Universe Gets Into Gear, Each One's Thoughts, as we're going to be getting everyone's thoughts as to the entire situation between Goku and the Omni King in the entire tournament, and of course seeing the Pride Troopers in action and getting more characters being revealed. We actually saw a character as well that resembled someone from Street Fighter, so I found that to be pretty cool. But even so, episode 84 was solely based on Krillin and Gohan. Now the reason why I really enjoyed this episode, because if you really pay attention to everything Krillin did, but the minute Krillin fought Gohan, the minute Krillin fought Goku, Krillin was the first one to make a move on both of them. When having to fight Gohan, he threw Gohan off guard, he went on the offensive, and Gohan admitted defeat. And even going up against Goku, we see how Krillin automatically unleashed Destructo Discs, as we did not see him hold back against Goku, even to the point where Goku had to use Super Saiyan Blue in utilizing that against Krillin. But there were two things that happened in this episode that did not make any sense. The first being, once Goku used Super Saiyan Blue against Krillin, they both cocked back their hands, they unleashed Kamehamehas, and Goku, scientifically speaking, should have enough power to completely blow away Krillin. But instead, what happened was Krillin was able to kind of hold off Goku's Kamehameha, even to the point where he was able to push Goku's Kamehameha back just a little bit. That doesn't make any sense, because where does Krillin rank in terms of power for him to even come close in even holding back such a Kamehameha from a Super Saiyan Blue Goku? Post-fighting hit, post-fighting Goku Black and Zamasu, post-fighting Frieza, Goku is on such a high of a caliber that there should be no reason for Krillin to even hold off that Kamehameha. But even to that point, we see how Goku used more power, and even after that happened, we see how Android 18 stepped in and she kicked away Goku's Kamehameha into the sky with complete and utter ease. And that also bothered me, because where does Android 18 stand in having to deflect Goku's Kamehameha away? Now, even after all that happened, Goku still stood his ground in staring down both 18 and Krillin, in which for a slight moment, we thought that both 18 and Krillin were gonna gang up on Goku, but once Goku did that, he powered down and immediately asked where 17 was. And since that was the case, 18 did say that she did speak with him over the phone, but she has no idea about where his whereabouts may be, in which she even suggests for Goku to go on ahead and speak to Dende to find out where he is. So in order to track down 17, in which we do see him in this episode, he's looking over the horizon. He is a park ranger. We don't know anything about him, even though this was the first glimpse we saw of him in Dragon Ball Super. Next week, Goku's gonna try to look for him, in which he engages against Majin Buu. Now, for anybody out there wondering, Majin Buu will not remain in that skinny form for the time being. He will only fight Goku momentarily, because during the actual Tournament of Power, we're gonna see how Majin Buu is back to his fat form. So even though he has been training and he looks incredibly ripped and buff, and he does have a great physique, it's only made temporary for Goku, as he will engage Buu the first time, mind you, ever since their first battle in Dragon Ball Z. And of course, aside from the Pride Troopers, this episode pretty much focused more on Gohan having to be serious, Goku having to be serious against Krillin as well, and Krillin actually did something that I feel as if we have to give him credit for, and that was he was on the offensive more than he was on the defensive. When it came down to distracting Gohan, he unleashed a very powerful solar flare, in which not only blinded Gohan, but even allowed him to admit defeat, as Gohan was defeated by Krillin because of Krillin's tactics. He was using Destructo Discs, he was actually using Ki Blast, he was doing what he had to do to get his opponent thrown off guard and to ultimately try to throw him out of the water, well, at least for Gohan's sake, because Goku did not lose. He stood his ground, but for Gohan did in fact lose. But the thing about Gohan that you have to respect here is Gohan didn't just take Krillin in as one of his own just because that's his boy. He wanted to still test him out, because Gohan thought, and he had the envisioning of Krillin not being able to stand up against such fighters in the Tournament of Power, that being Basil, Avenger, Bergamo, and some of the other fighters that are going to be shown, that being Topo and the Pride Troopers. So Gohan wanted to test Krillin out for the time being, because at this point you can't just throw anybody onto your team, it has to make sense. So even though no, Krillin is not stronger than Gohan, he's not stronger than Goku, his techniques in which he uses the Destructo Disc, the Solar Flare, in which the Solar Flare is very effective alongside many other things, he can actually use that to his advantage to possibly get far in this tournament. Now, even so, we saw how Goku lied to 18 in bribing her with money, but the one thing even aside from that I found to be very interesting was how for the first time before Goku asked about 17, we see how Krillin and 18 were legitimately about to attack Goku together as a husband, as a wife, defending each other. That was a great moment, and even during that whole moment, we see how Goku, if you look at his face, it doesn't necessarily mean he's evil, but he had like a smug look on his face because he knew that he had Krillin beat, but he still gave him admiration and respect. And even having to go back to look at the 22nd Budokai tournament when Goku first fought Krillin, it was a throwback to Dragon Ball to see Goku and Krillin at least do something. Goku was forced to use Super Saiyan in trying to find out where Krillin was, so this episode pretty much garnered Krillin in having balls to stand up and even compete against Gohan and Goku, people that are way powerful than him in terms of stature, and Krillin still, even despite having to be outmatched, was able to throw them off guard even momentarily, which could give him the advantage having to fight stronger people within the actual Tournament of Power. And I also want to remind you guys that it was confirmed quite some time ago that Ultimate Gohan will return in the Tournament of Power, and he's said to be stronger than ever before. So that's a plus. So just because we saw Gohan kind of do shitty here doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna do shitty later on, because once he unlocks and taps into that potential again, he's bound to be a problem. But I want to know your thoughts down below as to Krillin having to use the Solar Flare a lot, because if you guys paid attention in this episode, Krillin used Solar Flare quite a few times to catch Goku and Gohan off guard. And what are your overall thoughts on Krillin having to use the Destructo Disc to cut underneath Goku? Because there were certain times where Krillin didn't really, throw shots at Goku, he threw it around him, sending it back at Goku, in which Goku didn't even notice that it cut the ground beneath him. But I do like the idea that Goku had to become a Super Saiyan just to kind of understand where Krillin was feeling out. Even though Goku didn't really use Super Saiyan against Krillin, he tried to sense his energy and whatnot. But again, I think what did not make any sense here is having Goku use Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha and having that being pushed back by Krillin. I think that was a mistake. It kind of made Goku look a little weak if you ask me. Even though we all understand that Goku was suppressing his energy heavily, he still without a shadow of a doubt used God Ki with his Kamehameha to engage with a beam struggle against Krillin, and that didn't make any sense because where does Krillin rank in terms of power? Yes, I do think that Krillin has grown in strength, not exponentially, but to the point where he can actually hold his own a lot better than before. But even with that being the case, Goku should have just blown Krillin away easily, and I hate how Dragon Ball Super thus far gives us this cliche of Goku having to swallow people up with Kamehamehas, with the case being with Bergamo and Toppo and now Krillin. And yes, even though the Kamehameha did not engulf Krillin, it still made the actual move look weak, especially in comparison to Krillin, who was able to push that back. So if you guys also noticed during this episode, we saw how several times Gohan was very serious about his power. He was actually trying to concentrate his energy alongside Goku as well, in which I do want to say I think they will get stronger. Even though they're fighting minuscule and powerless people, I think that over time this will give them somewhat of a Zenkai boost. However, next week's episode is going to be very crucial because now we have 38 hours left until the Tournament of Power begins. But post your comments down below. What are your overall thoughts on next week's episode? What are your overall thoughts on Majin Buu having to be skinny, only temporarily having to fight Goku? What are your overall expectations on the God Summit? What are your overall thoughts on the gods having to plot against Goku? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. And if you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you guys are always up to date with all the latest in Dragon Ball news, information, updates, and reviews. If you guys enjoyed the review, don't forget to slap a like on this video to help save your universe. Tune back in for more. Again, next week's episode is going to be very critical, and it's going to be very awesome to see how everything unfolds with the gods, with the Kaioshins, with the Universe 11 fighters, and we even see for the time being, faces having to be displayed on a scoreboard. So the Daishinkan is planning a lot of things, and alongside Goku having to spar with Buu, you guys can expect a lot of things to happen, and which I cannot personally wait for. And again, I also want to know your thoughts on the ending, the new ending of Dragon Ball Super. I personally enjoyed it a lot as well. If you guys want to go back and watch, you guys can go to crunchyroll.com and check out all the episodes for yourself, guys. Tune in for the prediction video, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.